What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a great day out there, wherever you are. Yeah, we started early today. What? Oh, shit. Oh, really? Did we? No, well, I actually had to move it a little bit later because Rumble was being weird. But I got in 30 seconds from where we're from. It's fine. It's fine. Let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm actually sending the tweet out right now. I'm adding topics as we go to this. We're going to be talking about a lot today. I mean, strap in and strap on. We're going to be talking about Meghan and Harry, Baldwin, RCID. I got Biden. And at the end, we're going to watch the Veritas video. That's a little longer, but I want to actually watch it. I think it's worth it. So that'll be where we kind of conclude today, is watching the Veritas video, kind of the leak that was direct from James O'Keefe. So we're gonna be doing a lot today, not just Meghan and Harry. It's gonna get a little hairy. It's gonna get a little hairy. But good to see everybody in the chat today. Welcome, Mistress Meg, as a member to RPG, the Replay Gang. Appreciate you, and all the base members out there keeping us alive, despite their best attempts to censor us, because they're doing a pretty good job. Pretty good job of trying. Pretty good trying. But I'm back in Korea. You can see I got the waifus behind me. I got the rabbits. We're all set up here to go today. So it's good to see you guys. And also I got Rumble set up. So over there on Rumble, what's up? Izzy Naga 423 beers. Yo, what's going on? And all the DGens over there on locals, they're sending me shit I can't even post on Rumble. It's so spicy. So if you're not in the locals, check that out. Check out the locals. Get over there and see all of the dank memes. I mean, where else are you gonna learn? Because I never knew about Mountain Dew and this flavor of Mountain Dew Bussy Blast. I didn't know this was a thing. Thank you, locals. I did not know this was a thing, but I appreciate now knowing this, because without locals, I would never know this. So check out my legalmindset.locals.com. Also, I will do a locals exclusive later today. It won't be right after the show. It'll be probably early AM, one of those early AM streams. But I'm going to do a locals exclusive later on today. So check out that. Probably I'll try to do it around 7 or 8 AM Eastern. So that'll be going over there on locals. Yes, it's almost time for a new March poster. I got to order that through Korean delivery service. I've still got a week, because Korean delivery literally takes a day. So I'll definitely order one. I'll definitely order a new one for the back, and get that one shipped out to a very lucky person. I think I actually know who I'm going to send it straight to. Squid says, if it's true that Meghan is suing South Park, they need to go watch the banned episodes to learn exactly why it won't go out well. The banned episodes focus on when Hollywood was big mad at South Park. Oh yeah. And we're going to talk about that today. Some of the old ones that tried to come after South Park, and ultimately, spoiler alert, ultimately they all got blown the fuck out. The only thing I can say that successfully got censored on South Park was the Muhammad stuff, when they were going to show Muhammad, and they did not. But I think that's more of them backing down, to be completely honest, than anything else. But anyways, we'll get into it. So yeah, there's a lot, man. What's been happening over the weekend? No shit, Korea's the size of Detroit. It is not the size of Detroit in terms of geography. Geography, it's much bigger. But I get what you're saying. It's pretty dense. All right, because Muslims have balls. Everybody has balls, just they're of varying sizes. They're varying sizes. I'm not Obama. All right. So let's jump into it. Let's get into this Meghan and Harry stuff, and let's handle that up front, because I don't spoil the lead here. So the first thing I want to jump in is this threat. So what are we talking about right now when we talk about Meghan and Harry? Like, am I just making this up? Is this all clickbait? No, it's an actual threat. They are actually threatening to sue. Their lawyers are looking into South Park after they're ruthlessly attacked. They're actually trying to find something. And we're going to look in the video, and we're going to look at the video, which probably will get us demonetized. So guys, make sure you're smashing the like button out there. We're going to look at it, and we're going to examine, hey, is this video defamatory? Is there anything in here that's problematic, anything that would get them in trouble? And of course, Megan is probably the one, who's taking the lead on this. As we know, who's got the pants in the family. That would be Mr. Markle. And what they're saying is that their lawyers are casting an eye over the series after a number of attacks. Once again, not a physical attack, but words, mean-spirited words, by mocking their claims they want privacy, despite signing lucrative deals with Netflix and Spotify to publish claims about their lives. Prince Harry's autobiography, Spare, has been ridiculed by South Park, referring to it as WAG. The series also branded the couple stupid and dumb. If stupid and dumb are the meanest things, do you guys see this shit? They're mad because they got called stupid and dumb. There are people in the comments and on YouTube, whatever, dropping hard R's. They're calling me way more than stupid and dumb on a regular basis. Can I, if I could sue over being called stupid and dumb, I would be a rich man. I'd be a very rich man. So would many people. Oh, what's up, Steph? Good to see you in the chat. And shout out to some of my members here. Brandon, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat. Good friend of the channel. Megan, what's going on? Good to see you. Behave yourself. And yeah, all the other members in the chat. Good to see my BLM people. Let's go. Brandon says, I'll conclude where I please. Thank you very much. Brandon, you're always going to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I know that. So you just carry on, good sir. You just carry on. And Don, what's going on? My mod's holding it down. So they're hurt. They called dumb and stupid. And according to sources close, it appears, like so many, this may have legal ramifications. Their legal team is casting an eye over the episode to see what is wrong and what could be turned into something more sinister. So they haven't confirmed they're going to file yet. However, they're trying to look at the episode. So I said, all right, let's look at it. And then let's look at it in context of some of the other things that they've been sued for. Because, by the way, this is not their first rodeo. If you guys don't know about what in the butt, which you should, because I know you're all drinking Mountain Dew Bussy brand. What in the butt was a massive, if you guys haven't seen that, I can't even play most of it, but I'll play like 2 seconds. By the way, we're immediately going to get demonetized for this. But if you guys don't know what this is, you're missing out on a generational thing. But this is the actual parody. So the real song was by Samwell here. This is way back. So these guys sued South Park because South Park used their video in a clearly parody manner. You might remember this one. Maybe some of you old fuckers will remember this.
I said what in the butt. I said.
Yep. Okay. What, it lagged there, but
in the butt.
It's actually good.
I said what in the butt.
There you go. That it pretty much continues like that. So if you didn't remember that song from back in the day, what in the butt? These guys sued South Park. They seriously sued South Park. And they thought they were going to win. And by the way, the funny thing is the name of their company was Brown Mark. So Brown Mark represented what in the butt. Do you see the irony here? So Brown Mark sued them for the episode Canada on Strike. And the court acknowledged right away some of the facts about South Park in this case, which is they posed an interesting question of whether incorporation by reference doctrine applies to audiovisual works. South Park is a popular animated television show intended for mature audiences. So it puts that out there. The court has already acknowledged this shit. The show centers on the invention of foul-mouthed fourth graders in the small town of South Park, Colorado. It is notorious for its distinct animation style and scatological humor. The show frequently provides commentary. Boom. So there we go. Commentary on current events and pop culture through parody and satire. It's over. The second you say they're providing commentary, and the courts have acknowledged that the show provides commentary through parody and satire, it's pretty much over. You've established it as parody and commentary. both of which fall squarely within to fair use. Previous episodes have dealt with the Florida recount, Hurricane Katrina, and celebrity sex tapes. One episode entitled Canada on Strike, which satirized the 2007-2008 Writers Guild strike of America, inexorably popular viral videos, and the difficulty of monetizing internet fame. In the episode, the nation of Canada goes on strike, demanding a share of the internet money they believe is being generated by viral videos and other online content. By the way, this is the funny thing about South Park is this is not a joke. Canada actually wants to put a Canada tax on Canadian media and viral videos. They want people to pay Canada extra for Canadian content. That's actually not made up. They parodize it here. They make it into a parody, but Canada really wants to do crazy things like that. I mean, we call it, Canuckistan for a reason. These guys their politicians do try to gain that money in weird ways. In that episode, the boys, Cartman, Stan, Kyle, and Butters, decide to create a viral video in order to accrue internet money to buy off striking Canadians. The boys create the video, What in the Butt, in which Butters sings a pan to anal sex. Within the show, the video is a huge hit, but the boys are able only to earn theoretical dollars. So, and it's a parody of a real-world video by the same name. So Brown Mark sued. And the district court concluded one only needs to take a fleeting glance at the episode to determine that its use is meant to lampoon the recent craze in our society of watching video clips on the internet of rather low artistic quality and sophistication. It's so true, though. Like, the viral videos aren't really artistic or great. They're kind of trash. Brown Mark, more like skid mark. That's a good one. Appreciate that. Brandon says, good Lord, the level from these two. I mean, wow. What the Cuck Murphy? Close to 1,600. Weebs unite. Yeah, guys, smash a like button as you guys are coming in. Appreciate that. And make sure you go and follow Brandon. It's a great channel. If you like anime, go follow Brandon, the anime guy. Great channel. Megan's Mole says, word is Harry contacted the producers and complained about how they weren't depicted truthfully and how the producers got a lot wrong about them. Are you fucking serious, Megan? That is ridiculous. Why would they think the producers in a parody would want to portray them seriously? They've got such a long history of this. The only thing is for more attention, because everything they do, and this just validates it, everything they do is to court attention. And I've talked about this with clout goblins. We've talked a lot about clout goblins lately, because out there on the internet, whether it's the Eliza Blues of the world or the other folks, these clout goblins, they really don't care if they get attention negatively or positively. And I think Meghan and Harry have gotten to the point officially where they are trying to get attention, whether it's through doing things that are crazy or bad or doing things that are positive. In fact, they seem like they're just shitting on the bed. They're pulling an Amber Heard to get attention. And by the way, Tiffany, I would agree when you say they got a lot right. I think South Park depicted a lot of things accurately if you watch the episode. And remember, the truth is an absolute defense. So if you think about it, when talking about they weren't depicted truthfully, no, it is completely ironic that you would want to go on a national tour for privacy while promoting internet specials and books. If you're going on a worldwide privacy tour while still at the same time promoting a book and a Netflix special, you don't want privacy. That's the opposite of wanting privacy. When you put yourself out there publicly, you have to go out of your way to hold yourself out as a private person. That's the difference there. Are we kicking off the weeks with shots? I'll leave the bar in court. I'll do a shot. I got what do I got behind me? Is this still? Yeah, I still got a good amount of Ballantines left. So if you're willing to start off with a shot, Brandon, you know the drill. It's Monday, baby. We got a lot to get through here. All right. So they ended up losing this losing this case. So ultimately, South Park won that case. Don't need to read through all the reasoning there. But they ultimately got blown the fuck out in this case. So what we'd be looking at is not just a simple parody case. What we're going to need here, because this was copyright infringement, we would need something that's defamatory. We would need something that actually is untrue that they are saying about them. And what are we looking for? We're looking for maybe a crime, accusing them of a crime. That might work. Perhaps saying they have an STD, saying Meghan Markle has an STD. That might do it in terms of defamation. And I'm not sure whether we saw that. So we'll watch through the clip. Guys, please smash the like button. This is going to get me in trouble. But I'm going to do it anyways because I don't care. We will see if we see any of that. If we see any of that in this clip. This is the clip. It's been posted all over Twitter, so you guys can find it. We'll watch through it, and I'll go kind of EFAP it. You know, we'll pause it enough to get through this and provide commentary. Of course, I'm offering this as legal commentary here, pure legal commentary for the purpose of determining whether defamation was committed during this episode, as in my professional opinion as a lawyer. But given to no client in specific, and you should rely on your own attorney for legal advice. That being said, let's continue.
Toronto, it's Good Morning, Canada.
So you're starting out with fart noises and Good Morning Canada, a show which doesn't exist. So right away, we're starting out with parody. Let's go. Says, we're all right. We're off and away on a good note. You're definitely winning on the FX. Yeah. I try to do the best I can. So the Good Morning Canada here. These guys, this is obviously parody. The setup is obviously parody. Same thing as they've always done.
It has been several months now since our beloved Queen has died. All Canadians are finding it hard to go on. All Canadians, that is, except for our first guest, the Prince and his wife. We want privacy! We want privacy!
Okay, well, first of all, the depiction of them, right? The depiction of them, those individuals, is clearly a parody. I mean, let's continue a second here to see how they look. Clearly, they look like a parody.
Hey, thanks for having us on the show.
So you got, just their appearance, right? You got the giant fucking head, which is true because he does have a lot of forehead. People say that's accurate, right? Looks like a pill, perhaps a suppository. You know, Meghan Markle, obviously, once again, typical South Park, rounded fake sun hat here, shit ton of blush. Very much the parody format in terms of the look. No one would look at this and say, from a look, from a glance, say, oh, this is serious. They're trying to be serious here. This art style is a serious depiction of them in a manner which we're trying to be taken ultimately as factual. Max Mira says, retard Japan Penal Code 231. A person who insults another in public, whether alleges facts or not, is punishable by penal detention or petty fine. Yes, Max, we talked about this. Japan has different laws for defamation. So Japan is much different. We're talking about America here, not your weird geisha shit. So we'll talk about that when I'm in Tokyo in 2 weeks. But until then, keep that in Tokyo, Max, you degenerate. They do have weird laws in Japan, by the way, guys. Japan laws are totally fucked up. Let's continue.
It's so awesome to be here. It's great. So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family. You've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Win.
First of all, the parody of the book is great. The parody of the book is great because if you look at the actual thing, I actually didn't pull this up. Let me pull this up right now. It just mirrors the image from the book so well. If you just look at the picture, right? And then we go back, boom, the parody. That's pretty good. That's pretty good parody right there. So once again, nothing defamatory. Saying that he's a crying little bitch is fine. You have every right to say Prince Harry is a whiny little bitch who's cucked by his wife. There's nothing that you can say about that that's defamatory. That's completely okay. That's free speech. That's the core of free speech. We have every right to say he's a whiny little bitch.
That's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are totally like, you should write a book because you're
And that right there is so true. He's speaking and his wife speaks over him. I mean, that little part right there, hilarious. By the way, factual, because she's done that multiple times. It just goes to the nature of that relationship and exposing that nature. It may hurt their fifis, but there's nothing wrong with that. Showing that you are led around on a leash by your wife, yeah, it makes you look like you're, well, emasculated, sure. But that's not illegal. It's not illegal to emasculate this guy, and especially when it's factual. I have not watched the whole episode. I will say that. I've just watched the clip, this clip specifically. But this clip, we'll see. This is probably the prime one.
your family like stupid and then so are like journalists? So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right.
So not understanding the irony of that, right? The irony of the irony of reporting on something and that making you a journalist, right? So as soon as you report on something, boom, you're a journalist. A lot of irony there. Let's see here. Just want to make sure one thing. All right. All right. So I got a shot queued up here. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, brother. So let me take this shot here, or cue this shot up as we play this through.
So you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard. Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving bitch wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir?
Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's go back here. So I think this is why they're really mad. They're really mad about this. They're really mad about this. Let me talk about this real quick as I pull this up, and I got this shot queued up here. Let's tip it towards that. You know, I got the whiskey in there. You can see the volume. All right. So cheers to you guys, and cheers to calling out all the Instagram loving bitch wives in the world, because guess what? Calling someone a bitch or saying it's your bitch wife isn't defamation. Cheers. Oh, spicy. Oh, very spicy. Gotta get my, still the morning, guys. Completely okay. Brandon says, who's the pitcher and the catcher in this relationship? I don't think we need to say anything, Brandon. I think this pretty much speaks for itself as to that comment. But 100%, I think Meghan Markle saw this and she got mad. She got big mad. And this is sort of like, if you guys remember what happened with Will Smith and Jada, Will was laughing, but then Jada was like, that's not funny. I think that same shit probably went down behind closed doors here. And that's what happened.
Actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving bitch wife has always wanted her privacy.
And that's just putting it out there and saying it again. Putting it out there a second time. Fantastic.
And you know what else? To hell with Canada. We are leaving.
Well, which is exactly what happens with all these people. They whine and they cry, and when you don't give them their way, the clout goblins run away. They go, forget you, I'm leaving. We don't like you anymore. You're horrible. As soon as you don't give them what they want, they run away. Very much a call out. But what about that is defamatory? What about that accuses them of a crime? Being a bitch is not a crime. I wish it was. How many Karens would be in jail for that one?
We'll go find some quiet place where we can be normal people. Come on, wife. We want privacy. We want privacy.
So there you go. That was mostly the episode. There's more to it. Obviously, that's a minute clip. But the point is that South Park gave nothing of defamatory value. It gave nothing out there that could be construed as defamation within the episode. Calling somebody a bitch is not enough. And I think we're moving to this era of people thinking mean words equals defamation. No, defamation is very specific. And there are situations where we edge towards defamation. We got there in the Eliza Blues saga. We were getting there where people were calling each other. We had Tim Pool, the quartering. We got, Shane Cashman and them simping, and then DeFongo and that whole issue where they had to come back with the retraction. There are issues where we're getting into big defamation battles, and I think there'll be huge defamation battles in the future. However, this is not it. So in my verdict on Harry and Meghan is they got absolutely no case here at all whatsoever. This is only to court attention. This is only to get attention on them. They have zero case against South Park and ultimately will fail. By the way, I know some people say Eliza Blue blocked them. Yeah, Eliza Blue's blocked a lot of people. She went through and blocked, I think, her PR team, because I don't think she did it. Went through and blocked a lot of people, pretty much anybody who said anything mean about her. In fact, I should check right now if she tried to block me. I'm sure it might happen. Wolf's Pain says, what's worse at this point, Meghan, the wannabe royal Markle, or Jada Pinkett, a wannabe Shuker Smith? Personally, I think it's Jada ruining Will. Ooh, that's a bad one. You know what? I'm going to put up a poll on that one, because that's actually hard to tell, because they both have their own problems. So, okay, who's worse? Jada Pinkett or Meghan Markle? That's actually a good question, because I can't. Yeah, I misspelled who's, whatever. Who the fuck cares? Poll stays up. Poll stays up. There's kids involved with Jada. That is another factor. So does that make it worse or better? Does that make it worse or better? All right. So that's it for that one. We've got so much news today, though, guys. We're moving through all the topics today. There's so much shit that went down. But South Park, I will say one thing about South Park before I move on. South Park, I used to watch South Park all the time, especially when I was younger. I don't have time to watch shit anymore. I only watch shit when it's good or when somebody gives me a really strong review of it. South Park used to not pull any punches. I do feel like South Park is pulling a little bit of punches, particularly with the folks on the left, but it's good that they still are a source of parody and criticism that can remain relevant for their ability to critique people for their hypocrisy. I think that's fantastic. I think we need that. The point of parody is to call things out. The court gesture, he calls out true things, but he does it in a funny way. That's the art of being the court jester, is being able to poke fun at something, but not having the king execute you. So far in the poll of Jada Pinkett versus Meghan Markle is 56. Jada Pinkett is 44. All right. They're both bad. I'm not saying that. Just saying who's worse. He'll say Jada ruined Will's career, Meghan ruined Harry's life, and the whole British monarchy. Yeah, it kind of did cast a light on all of them, didn't it? Linda says Jada, because she pushed Will more to the hockey mask time. If Will ends up doing something crazy ultimately, then then Jada will win that one. But we'll see. We'll see where Will ends up. All right, so let's go on to the next one. And this is one I think every other law grifter is going to grift on. Every other law grifter is going to grift on this. So I just want to grift on it first. But I think this is something that can be concluded in 5 minutes or less. So here we go. Let me talk about this. The people are going to make this into an hour-long video. It's not. Let's talk about Baldwin, right? So Baldwin's charges just got reduced over the Rust shooting. I've said this before, and whenever you put a Baldwin thing up, it goes crazy, which is why people do this. But this is very simple. Very simple. Alec Baldwin was never going to go to jail for any significant period of time. He's never going to sit in a prison for 5 years. Folks that thought and were out there fapping away in a corner that he's going to go away for 5 years, you were delusional. Anybody who was selling you that was fucking lying to you. Baldwin was always going to get a slap on the wrist. The fact that they dropped the firearm enhancement is not a thing. So what did they do? So he had 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, but one of those counts had a firearm enhancement. So the involuntary manslaughter in the commission of a lawful act that carried a firearm enhancement, which made the crime punishable by a mandatory 5 years in prison. The problem was apparently there was a legal argument that was enacted, officially enacted after Baldwin had already committed the crime. So they were going to challenge that. They were going to appeal that, all that sort of stuff. And they said, nah, we're just going to, instead of having them fight that because Baldwin has money for real lawyers, we're just going to drop it. I think, by the way, that's fair. I think dropping something is fair if it's ex post facto law. I think it's perfectly fine. But now it goes back to what I said, which was 18 months, which we were looking at originally. We were always looking at 18 months, never 5 years. I talked about that in my previous video, and I don't think he's serving more than 6 months of probation, to be completely honest. So I think that based on this attitude, because here's what you got to think. The prosecutors are being reasonable. Look at what they said here. In order to avoid further litigious distractions by Mr. Baldwin and his attorneys, the district attorney and the special prosecutor have removed the firearm enhancement to the involuntary manslaughter charges and the deaths of Halna Hutchins on the Rust film set. The attorney for Hannah, who was responsible for the weapon, said her attorney said they applaud the decision. So they agree with it. People say if there's little to no precedent for a Hollywood actor to face criminal charges. Nah, just because they haven't done it doesn't mean the facts don't merit it. So what's going to ultimately happen to Baldwin here? Baldwin will come to some sort of agreement, some sort of plea deal. He's going to plea. He's going to get some minor sentence. It's going to be probation, maybe a year, maybe 6 months, something like that. And he's going to walk. I know people try to make this into a big deal. He's not going to be locked up. He's not going to go away. And by the way, he's already grifted on making the proceeds to go to the family of Halna Hutchins. So we're just going to see that happen. We're just going to see him grift off that. And also say guns are bad. Also say guns are bad. By the way, I don't know if you saw, I got to bring this up. Speaking of guns are bad and like really bad takes. The kid from Parkland, Earth, good to see you checking in the chat. Vince Clortho, if you own a gun, law of self-defense is worth it 100%. Brandon says, are we letting him off? Are we letting him off? Definitely a two-shot Tuesday. Two-shot Tuesday. I see one shot in the PayPal, Brandon. I see one shot. I'll do another shot at the end. I'll give you a finisher. That's on the house. But yeah, Hog is on his bullshit again. And I want to bring this up real quick because I see a lot of people responding to it. So let me respond to it as well. Which is talking about our rights, right? And what our rights are. Here's his comment that I think a lot of people brought up. This is the Parkland kid. We have the right not to be shot. We have the right to survive math class. We have the right to safety. We have the right to a future. We have the right to not be murdered. Murder is the ultimate infringement on our rights. So, equating all of these things as rights. First of all, very few of these are actually, if any, are rights. Technically, yes, you do have the right not to be murdered, i.e., it is a crime. But it's not like a fundamental right of the government to protect you from all harm. That's not a responsibility of the government. The government doesn't guarantee your physical safety. It guarantees the government won't be the agent of that, but other private parties very much can cause that. But here's the ultimate problem I have with this. Okay, sure. Let's even say these things were right. What would prevent you from being shot? What would allow you to be safe? What would allow you to have a future? What would allow you to not be murdered? Well, the policy that flows from this is not inherently the banning of guns. In fact, allowing firearms at schools in the hands of teachers, in the hands of adults, might be the solution to those problems. What the policy reaction to that is that, okay, ban guns. In fact, to me, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, good point. That's the right to carry at school. You just proved the need for the right to carry at school. Thank you, David. Thank you. So to me, I don't think this proves what he thinks it proves. I really don't. Yeah, and also, let me bring up one thing otherwise, and this is something I think some of you in the chat have picked up as well. That same logic that you're using there, that same logic that they're using there, does that apply to abortion? Are you applying that to abortion? Just saying. The same people that are going to ban guns because it's your right not to be murdered. How about those babies? How about those babies? Just saying. That's my take there. I think that goes well with the Baldwin part. Yeah, paying for cops in the military. There you go. That's perfectly fine. Although having more of a say over that is important. People say, how is Hug living in tomorrow's AM? Guys, I'm in the future. I am in Seoul. That's why it is 11:20 a.m. It's reporting my time. Get it? My time. We're like, how is it the future? I'm like, it's the future in Korea. All right, so let's move on to the next thing I wanted to destroy here, which is Reedy Creek. I got to deal with this. This is my specialty area. So permit me a deviation here, because this is something I am getting tagged in like fucking crazy. And this is my particular area of specialty. Yes, I'm a real lawyer. Yes, this is a area that I know a lot about because I did it. So allow me to flex a little bit. Allow me to flex. And I'm gonna piss some people off because I'm about to flex on some Republicans. In fact, I'm about to flex on a Trump Republican, a America First Republican. So strap up and strap in. Music and Fiction sounds real quick. David Hogg, the human rectal monitor. Yeah, he's definitely never had a take I've liked. I know people crying right now. No, Andrew, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't flex on the Florida Republicans. Hold on. Just wait. It's Republican on Republican violence. It's red on red. So let's talk about this. So we have the RCID, the Reedy Creek Improvement District. This issue passed the Senate in Florida. The district will be renamed. DeSantis gets to pick the board of Disney's special district. And okay, hold on. Let me get these real quick here before I continue. God damn it. Hunch says you may have the right to life, but the ability to maintain that right is up to you and your willingness to deny anyone taking it be dangerous. 100% agree with that. 100%. And God damn it, Brandon. Brandon said 2 a set. You know I'm money good. Yeah, I know you're good for it, baby. I know you're good for it. You've offered 3 up for free, so I guess we're turning into a foursome. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. This is a foursome Friday. Or foursome, not Friday. See, I'm already drinking too much. This is a Tuesday foursome. We got the shout out queued up in here. Cheers, guys, to Disney getting blown the fuck out. All right. Woo, spicy. This is the Valentine's 21. In case you guys are curious, Koreans are crazy about this shit. I initially bought it just to flex on them, but it ended up being used for you guys. All right, so Reedy Creek gets renamed. And what I saw here was amazing. What I've seen on this Reedy Creek issue is amazing. I have no idea why people on the right are getting triggered by this. So I have seen more people on the right triggered by the Disney board getting dissolved than others. How are people on the right simping for Disney? And the answer is, and I'll tell you this as somebody who worked in Florida, who worked in Central Florida. Disney in the past bought off people on the right and on the left. They used to do that. And a lot of those folks want those Disney bucks. They're going to say, oh, I'm MAGA, I'm Trump, I'm this, but they were getting the Disney bucks. They want that money. So they are bought and paid for by Disney. So make no mistake, a lot of these people bitching about it have connections to Disney. They're tied into Disney. They've been snorting that pixie dust. Yeah, they used to own Florida. I think they're losing that control now. But let me get into the comments because I see people reacting like this. And this is people that are, on the right. For example, let me go through this Twitter thread here. This is an example, just an example, but we're going to go through how regular people are flipping out about this and state senators are flipping out about this. So this is from blogvicky.com. State takeover of Reedy Creek Improvement District passes Florida Senate. This is on February 11th. So look at the reaction. Adam, this literally sounds like communism. I can't believe this is happening in America. Florida wants to become China. See, here's the thing. Maybe this sounds bad. They're just reacting without knowing. And I get it. But what they don't understand is that there are 1,700 special districts in Florida, most of which are controlled by a government or appointed by a government or elected officials who are from that area. But most of them have some government interface or oversight or control. Reedy Creek was an exception. It should not be the rule. So already going there, David coming back saying it's a restoration of jurisdiction. The government of the state of Florida taking over the control of Walt Disney Company would be communism. The board of supervisors to be picked by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. Board of supervisors cannot work for a theme park. They've seized control of their backside in Florida. No, they have not. First of all, Reedy Creek is supposed to be the public side of, it's supposed to be the public side. The public side. We're talking about roads. We're talking about pavement. We're talking about mass transit. We're talking about stormwater. We're talking about conservation land. They're supposed to be doing, Reedy Creek is supposed to be doing the public shit. It's not supposed to be an extension of their corporate entity. That's literally illegal. And by the way, the IRS should have audited Disney decades ago. We're going to get into that. The IRS at the highest level has been given Disney a pass for decades. I was holding back on this part, but the IRS should have audited Disney years ago and found this was just a puppet. Let me do this here. Meredith G says, Barnes claims that DeSantis wimped out because there will still be tax breaks and claims in the Hollywood Reporter Act. I'm trying to reconcile this. Okay, I love Robert Barnes. Let me tell you this. Robert Barnes is right. And by the way, we need to get back into agreeing with people more than disagreeing. And Robert is a good guy. I love him. I'll collaborate with him. But frankly, to be completely honest with Robert, this is not his area of expertise. He is not a Florida attorney. He's not done this. This is my specific area of expertise. So I'm in this one specific area, I'm going to say very specifically to this, Robert doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because all these other districts are still getting tax breaks. How do I know? Because I did them. I got them tax breaks. They're getting special deals with the local governments. They're getting expedited processing of their permitting, of their zoning, all sorts of shit. They're getting things done for them. Companies are getting things done for them regularly that are similar to what the benefits Disney is getting in this case. He doesn't know Florida. He doesn't know Florida land development. That's just how it works. It's what I did. I love Robert. He's fucking wrong, though. He's wrong on this. Who else says, Leslie says, not for a shot, just because I like you. Thank you, Leslie. Appreciate you. IFID said, yes, you and Radix are the most base people ever. Yeah, shout out to Christina. She does not get enough love. Go out and support Radix Verum. She's getting censored and hit on multiple levels. She is great and always been behind me. So appreciate that. I have the inside info because I did this shit. Brandon says, shots fired. Oh, no. I see it. I'll cue it up in a second. I got you, Brandon. You know I'm good for the shot. I'm not the type of guy who skimps out. My name is not Joe Neerman. Okay. And I pour these pretty full. Let me just say. Adam says there's not a single company in Florida that has more power now over Disney. That's not true. That's not true. There's plenty of other corporations, entities that also are highly controlled by the state. Straight up what happens in China. Nope. China's far worse. But Disney is headquartered in California. The state of Florida only gains control over RCID. They are run by Disney. They approve the permitting for the parks. They upkeep the market. Well, they used to. That's going to change. It's going to go to the county. They upkeep the property. They return the maintenance. That's true for many special districts. There's nothing different there. And, you know, once again, going back to this is how communists were able to captivate. I'm beginning to understand. So just going back to calling it communism. And where do they get this from? Well, they get this from people like MAGA Republicans, like Anthony Sabatini. So let's talk about Anthony right now. I'm not following Anthony. I probably should follow Anthony, but let's talk about Anthony real quick. Anthony is the chairman of the Lake County GOP. He's an attorney. Look at this. He's a fucking attorney. He has his own law firm. He doesn't practice this area of law, though. He calls himself an America First Republican, a MAGA Republican. He's a vet. He went to UF, and he got his JD. Look at that shit. By the way, I got my JD before him at UF. So this guy, I mean, I would agree with Anthony on most issues. Look, I mean, like this tweet. I like this tweet. Look at this. I'm going to like this tweet right now. It's a good tweet. James O'Keefe for VP. I'm down. Shit talking on Representative Anna Escami. I agree with that. I'm down. Right? Like talking about them being tone deaf. Okay, sure. I'm down. Right? Kevin McCarthy being an absolute cuck over Jan 6. I'm down. But here's where he fucks up. And this is the thing. I agree with so much this guy has to say. But here's where he fucks up. Over here, talking about the Disney bill. Talking about the Disney bill. So, Republican, Lake County. This is Lake County, Florida. He fucks up talking about the bill. And this is, once again, an issue I disagree with him. I like most of his stuff. I think most of his comments are fine. They're great. But he's wrong here. So the Disney bill is saying the Disney bill is weak and still allows Disney to have exemption from sales tax and property tax. So let me debunk these. Guys, I'm going through and debunking these arguments piece by piece, live, while I'm drinking. By the way, Brandon, Senpai notices you. Here's the shot here. I can explain this shit while drinking. It's not a problem. You know, so cheers to explaining, you know, see this nice voluminous shot here. So the exemption from sales tax and property tax, that is true of any, and I mean any, special district. It's true for any of them. Every single one of them. They're exempt from sales tax and property tax. And that's true of all 1,700. So saying that it still allows them to be exempt, that's nothing different than any other special district, including ones within his own district, ones within Lake County. So this guy, Anthony, is the representative of Lake County. Tax-free bonds. Every special district in government issues tax-free bonds. By the way, as a person who's issued tax-free bonds, I can tell you right now, tax-free bonds are a grift. By the way, I did spill a tiny amount, but it was just a tiny amount. It's good. The keyboard is forward. You guys can't see. It was on the table, the forward part of the table. I've learned. But tax-free bonds are something that's issued by your city, your county, your state. And a lot of times they're fucking suspect. I'm not going to lie. As a person who worked on these, I have worked on bonds where I'm like, this is some sketchy shit we're funding right here. It's legal, but it's still sketchy. For example, tax-free bonds have gone towards performing arts centers. Now, you might ask yourself, oh, well, isn't that public because it's like something for everybody? Well, no, a performing arts center sells tickets. You need to buy a ticket. What type of people buy performing arts center? Usually they're usually wealthy, middle to upper class. By the way, usually they're left, but sometimes they're on the right. Sometimes there's cool things to watch there. But that is something that is funded routinely by tax-free bonds. But they make money. It's not a community good. You can't use it for free. Brandon says, well, I'm going to push back on the tax-free bonds of GO. Okay, so let me explain what Brandon is saying right now, because Brandon actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. The site trying to feed me shots till I die here. He does know what he's talking about when it comes to some financing. There's two types of bonds. There's general obligation bonds and revenue bonds. This is kind of a law school class. So I'll go full screen on myself for the law school class. So there's two types of bonds, general obligation bonds and revenue bonds. General obligation bonds, you are promising the specific revenue of the entire county, literally the taxing power of the entire county. So if you fail on those, the entire county is on the line, versus a revenue bond, which only pledged specific revenue of a specific area, geographic area, or a specific thing, like a toll road. Like, for example, a toll road, the Florida Turnpike, for example, if those who are in Florida have driven on the Florida Turnpike, that was funded by a revenue bond. Most of these things, like Disney's bonds, are revenue bonds. They're not GO bonds. They're not general obligation bonds. They're very specific revenue bonds promising a very specific revenue stream. It is boring, but listen, this is important because these guys are fucking lying about it. And saying they have expedited permitting, most companies have that. So saying there are no other companies in Florida with these privileges is an absolute lie. It's absolute bullshit. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about this bill. In fact, and I'll show you this real quick, Lake County, his county, remember, he represents Lake County. So let's go back up here. He represents Lake County, Florida. Lake County, within Lake County, has two special districts entirely controlled by the county. So the county controls these governments entirely. So when he says, this doesn't exist, look at your own county, bro. Look at your own county. And what's even worse is, if you look at the official list of special districts, which you can look up, you can Google this, you find, and Meredith called it out. Meredith said it right here. Shout out, extra points for Meredith. Lake County has the villages. Thank you, Meredith. Calling it out right now. The villages. And now some of you may say, why is that relevant? Why is the villages relevant? Well, I know that some of you may think the villages is just the #1 source of syphilis in the United States. By the way, it was the highest rate of STD acquisition in terms of speed for several years. Also, the fastest growing municipality was the villages. It is a retirement community. They also have an insane amount of swingers. But the villages is relevant because the villages is in his county. This is a list. This is a PDF of all of them. Every single district in Lake County. Guess what? There's 47 of them. 47 in his own district, including Village Center. This is the main special district for the villages. And it is entirely, this special district is entirely controlled by a company. It is 100% controlled by a company. And here's the thing. Back in the day, in 2013, the IRS ruled that the villages was not actually a legal political subdivision. Was actually, when you look at their ruling, that they do not meet the definition of a political subdivision. That they do not meet the definition of a government, and they are not determined to have local powers. Why? Because they're controlled by one company. Right here, the entity that is organized and operated in a manner intended to perpetuate private control and to avoid indefinitely responsibility to the public electorate cannot be a public political subdivision of the state. So right here, they say, the IRS says that the villages was not an actual real government. And here's my point. People say, Andrew, what's the fucking point? Why are you rambling about the villages? Why are you bringing up a random IRS memorandum? It's because the IRS should have cracked down on Disney ages ago. It's only because of Disney favoritism and because they turned a blind eye that Disney was able to get away with this bullshit for so long. The fact that it is being fixed is something that should be applauded. And Republicans that don't understand it should do a better job of getting educated on the issue of the real issue before they actually open their mouth and complain about it. So that's my take on that, as a guy who's been in the trenches. And I applaud DeSantis for fixing that issue. I think it is great. I think it is good. And by the way, some people can say, hey, maybe there should be no special districts. That's fine. That's a fair point of view. But that's a different argument than saying DeSantis fucked up here and he's doing something different. No, he's doing exactly the same thing. All right, let's get through the super chats. God, I got a lot of them. Shit. Who has the worst STD rate? San Fran, Atlanta, or the villages? I assume you meant, instead of villas, I assume you meant villages. They're all bad, but for different reasons. San Fran is for, well, we all know what San Fran's about. Atlanta, there's a lot of different issues there going on between look at the single woman rate there, and also look at the G rate. We'll call it that, the G rate. And the village is just old people who don't give a fuck. Brandon says, 100% agree. Duck Fisney should have a Roto-Rooter. Agree. Brandon said a bunch. Said orange, yellow, drink for pink. I did end up drinking, so we're pretty good right now, Brandon. We're gonna have one loaded up here in a second when we get into Ukraine. But I am at a cruising altitude. Our captain has reached a cruising altitude of ranting on this. And just as we hit 1 hour, man. By the way, guys, I want to say real quick, my plan is to do a little bit less streaming. I know you're going to be angry about this, but YouTube, I'm planning on doing maybe 3 streams a week from now on. 1 specifically on Rumble, and then 2 local live streams. That is my going forward plan, unless there is a trial that I'm actively covering. By the way, the Murdaugh trial is not it. Although I have somebody reached out to me who may be a witness for the Murdaugh trial, who may come on my channel and testify, which will be, well, not testify, but just talk, interview, which would be amazing. But unless there's a great trial, we're not going to be there. Let's see that says, new sub here. Why are we doing shots on Mon? Can I ask about LLC versus S Corp for self-employed with 1 to 2 future employees? No worry if this is in the stream. I can do shots whenever I want. I mean, I literally do whatever I want whenever I want. That's pretty much what I want. So I can do shots on a Monday morning at 11:43 a.m. because that's what I want to do. And no one can stop me from doing that. Got no boss to tell me go fuck yourself. So yeah, I can do shots on a Monday if I want to. When if people financially incentivize that. And Brandon Lesko is very good about financially incentivizing that. I have to ban, cancel, dislike, unsubscribe. Yes, yes. Also, smash a like button. 900 of you in the chat. Please smash a like button. It really helps us out in the chat. Really helps us out in the algo. Matt says, did you catch Venti picking a fight with Iron Mouse, a chronically ill Puerto Rican VTuber? I did not. Guys, to be honest, like I try to stick to like law stuff or stuff that's like law related. And then I can kind of go off of that in reflection to the law. Venti shitting on a random VTuber is not, I mean, unless there's defamation, if one of them's accusing the other of defamation, then I'll cover it, right? So if Venti like is defaming somebody, then okay, I'll analyze it for, is this defamation? But you got to send me the Carfax. So Matt, if you want to send me that, send me the link of the episode and say, hey, did Brittany Venti defame this person here? And I'll analyze that. Galloway says, can't type what I wanted to because of censorship. This will be my last super. Good luck, Andrew. Okay, cool. Peace. I love the people who try to hate and like come through hate and disappear. It's like, okay, and Brandon says, well, I'm going to push back on the tax-free bonds geo. Oh, I got that one before. Explain general obligation revenue. Vince Cortha says, Disney sucks from the parents. Yes, they do suck hard. And last, Brandon says, you can get 9 to 10% loan out of a 401k. And if you're comfortable in the underlying and you take that out and put in a geo, you are beating inflation. Yes. So most government bonds do beat inflation. That is true. They're better than inflation, which is why people invest in them. All right. I think we're caught up there. And let me check Rumble here. Good to see you guys there on Rumble. Yeah, the state rested in the Murdoch case. So I don't see much of a case there. It should be a not guilty, but we'll see. Oh, by the way, thank you, Leslie Kohler, for gifting 5 new Legal Mindset memberships. I appreciate that very, very much. Oh, also, Blue Vero sent a 4-month member super chat, which, by the way, sorry, it takes me a second. I have to go behind the scene to get that. Saying criminals don't care about the gun. All the gun laws do is make it harder for people to protect themselves. Absolutely agree about that. They just are trying to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to be law-abiding citizens. All right. So let's get on with Biden. Next topic is Biden. So Biden makes a surprise visit to Ukraine. So we're going to talk about this before we get into Veritas, because that's going to be how we're going to conclude today. Although that's going to be a long conclusion because we're going to actually watch the video. And my take here is this. Ukraine is at war with another country. At war. I don't think it's been a minute since we've endorsed another foreign war. We've essentially entangled ourselves in a foreign war by visiting that country and pretty much making out with the leader during wartime. I mean, and I will say right now that funding this war is the number one thing, that the establishment has done, both on the right and the left. So the left is clearly simping for Ukraine. They love Zelensky in leather. They love Zelensky as the leather pig. If you guys haven't seen that, by the way, Google it. I've already played it and gotten demonetized for that. It's not going to happen again. But the right, you've got people like Eye Patch McCain. You've got Dan Crenshaw, the Mitch McConnells, that go in and they just simp so hard for Ukraine because they're trying to sell us on this Jack Clancy novel, you know, Russia is the enemy sort of thing. And to be completely honest, we have more potential in common with Russia than we do against. I was just in Thailand. And, Thailand doesn't really ban anybody from visiting. So when I was in Thailand, there were Chinese there were Russians there, and they're kind of like, we're going to take everybody's money. Fuck you. We just care about tourism. And the funny thing is, if you talk to the Russians, if you actually have a conversation with them, they really hate communism. Just like if you talk to a real Venezuelan, they hate communism. They know that it does not work. They know that the system is fucked. We have more that we could ally with them in the long term than Ukraine, a country which provides America nothing, literally nothing in terms of exports. But yet this is what we see. And let's play this video here. Oh, sorry. Doing that with the top on. All right. By the way, this guy kind of looks like an older James O'Keefe. I was totally pouring this shot with the top on of the bottle. That being said, that tells you I've had one too many. But I keep my promises. So you've got him visiting them during clear wartime. I don't know whether that was an air raid siren or that was intentional. Whether this isn't like, is that an air raid siren or is that because of Biden? I'm not sure one way or another. But this has absolutely been a glaring issue for the Biden administration, especially during a time in which Ohio had that, train explosion, which I talked about. It's not a Chernobyl. It will never be a Chernobyl. It's a bad thing. Certainly not Chernobyl. But look who was able to capitalize on it. And that is one Donald Trump.
Well, over the last 2 years, the destruction that they've done in 2 years, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And even now you have a president going to Ukraine and you have people in Ohio that are in desperate need of help. And I was very proud to say that I announced I was going to Ohio. FEMA said we're not going to give them anything. The Biden administration said we're not going to give them anything. And then I announced I'm going. Please sit down. Yeah, go ahead, sit. We'll be here for a while. What do we have to do? What do we have to do? But they weren't going to get anything from FEMA. They weren't going to get anything from anybody. And then I announced I'm going. And FEMA said, oh, we'll give you whatever you want. Everybody's throwing it at them now. And you know what? I'm happy about that. That's good. We're going to go on Wednesday. But as soon as we announced we were going, the money started rolling in. But it's not supposed to be that way, is it?
Okay, so Trump is taking credit for the fundraising there, and he's not wrong because Trump does actually drive news cycles. He does actually drive funding. I get that, 100%. But I think it's going to be a scathing criticism because Ukraine is the number one. I think the number one thing we should be paying attention to in terms of where our politicians, both right and left, are misallocating funds. It's a gross misallocation of funds. Let's see here. We got a couple super chats. Wolfsbane says, I would say Venti didn't defame Iron Mouse, accusing her of being a pedo and luring underage boys to hentai. Don't know if Mouse will do anything, though. Wolfsbane, send me that clip. You need to back that. You need to back that up. Send it to my email. Send it to my Discord or my locals. Send me that clip. If Venti defamed Iron Mouse, I'll call that out. But I got to see the clip. I have not seen it, so I cannot say whether that's true or not. But calling someone a pedo is for sure. That is defamation. I can't do shots on a Monday. I'm my own boss. I paid support and ask in hopes of an answer, i.e. super chat equals shot, not to insult. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm not sure what the insinuation here is, Courtney, but I mean, I got a shot queued up. So if you're asking for me to do a shot for you, I'm confused by your super chat there. But either way, look, listen, I'm glad you're here in any form. So cheers. Let's see what we got here. Swamp Agency says, thanks for the rundown, RCD. Anytime. It's my specialty. And look, guys, I know that it's not as sexy. I know RCID and these special districts aren't as sexy, but here's the thing. I have been and always will be dedicated to the truth. And I know it hurts sometimes when you see people you support, people you like, maybe even your local representative, and I call them out because they're not right on an issue. Understand this. We can all be wrong on issues. The people I want to talk to are people that I say, hey, look, I like you. You're good. You're wrong on this issue, but let's just talk. And maybe we disagree, and maybe I'm the one who ultimately is wrong on this issue. But let's have a conversation about it. I think that's healthy. We've gotten to this thing where it's got to be black or white. Everybody's right or wrong. That's fine. Disagreement is good. We should get back to conflict. This feminization of everything else is getting us away from conflict. Conflict produces results. Debate, the crucible of debate, produces a victor and a loser. It's absolutely okay to disagree about this and work this shit out. Vince says, originally from South Bend, Indiana. We're sorry. Yeah. For providing for a lot of the issues here. It's all right. I forgive you. Gemma, welcome as a new member. Also, speaking of members, I had a member super chat from Nick Cruiser who says NATO is trying to see how hard they can poke the bear and renege on their promises of not advancing on Russia. Nick, I'm going to say this right now. NATO is testing the limits, is literally testing the limits of what is permissible and what is impermissible. So we'll see how far they can push the line. I would not play with Russia, though. They have nukes. That's kind of a thing. All right. So I think oh, wait, no, hold on. Nick says here, the courtroom is a crucible. In it, we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with pure product, the truth for all time. Picard from TNG. The good TNG. The good TNG. By the way, I don't know if anybody's watched Picard season 3. I don't have time to watch TV. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have zero time to watch TV. But I know that Anna said that Picard was good, season 3. I also know that like Doomcock says it's all woke. So I'm not sure where you guys are on Picard, if any of you watch that. And whether it's good or not. But I've never been a Star Trek guy. Some of the movies I've watched, but never watched the full series. So you guys let me know. I only watch stuff when people say it's good and people I trust say it's good. But I just saw the thumbnail of Anna saying it's good. I'm like, all right, is it actually good though? I mean, I trust you, but also you're a woman. So, can I really trust you? Who knows? Nancy says, did you behave while I was gone? You seem to have cleaned up your act a bit. A bit? Hey, welcome back, Nancy. It's good to see you. I know you've been busy with, your school stuff, but I appreciate seeing you back. And shout out to all the long-term members, all the OGs like Nancy who've been around for a while. I always appreciate y'all, and I appreciate seeing you in and checking in over time. So where I wanted to go here. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally missed locals. I got a couple locals I got to catch here before we get into Project Veritas, which we're going to get into right after this. So on locals, Jessica Reloaded says, greetings to Senpai. What's up, Jessica? Good to see you. Thank you for simping hard. Appreciate you, girl. C3 Metal says, fake as fuck air raid siren. Was that fake? And then it goes on, oh, that fake air raid siren was to fuck us U.S. taxpayers dry. Maybe. Because I don't think Kiev is actually being actively bombed right now. I really don't. Oh, Bessie, I see your super chat. Don't worry, your members chat. Bessie Knox, I got you. So Bessie Knox says for 1 month, South Park has always been controversial. Ciento. Yeah, they've been controversial since the beginning. That's been consistent for them. And one needs only to look at South Park to know it's parody. It's comedy. So appreciate y'all over there on Locals. All right. Oh, and by the way, people say about Picard, as happier dude on Rumble says, Picard, 2 seasons of audience hate. Now they hate less, so we should watch hardly. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that now I think the formula is they hit you with the SJW shit for like a season or two, and then they go with the member berries and nostalgia to get you back in, and then they hit you again with the woke shit. They're just absolutely hammering you with the woke shit. But that's my opinion whenever I watch stuff. So let's get into the James O'Keefe Project Veritas leaked video. Now, guys, this is long. So understand, hey, it's late at night over there. You guys may have to check in and check out. But I'm going to be doing running commentary on this. It probably will take a while. But I want to watch this because James O'Keefe has been a central figure in the fight against disinformation and lies, and he has done great work. And the fact that he is removed is really problematic. This is leaked video. By the way, let me give a shout out to Law Nerd Clips. This is courtesy of Law Nerd Clips. So we'll play this here, courtesy of them. So check them out, like them, subscribe them. Very based, very red-pilled.
I wrote these so I could get the words right, but it's obviously from the heart. And
I'm going to pour this shot because I owe another shot
over a Zoom or Teams.
So I'm pouring this shot right now.
And these are intended just for the family here at Project Veritas. So
this is a leak.
I recognize that when you send something out to 60 people, but I'm not going to do that today. So I just wanted to tell you the truth. So
he actually did not leak this himself. This is somebody else leaking this from the Project Veritas team. Brandon, let's go. Oh, well, if it's going to take a while, might as well be at least make this a clippable stream. Oh, this is going to be a super clippable stream. I'm going to have like 6 clips coming from the stream. There's so many different topics on this. So let's go, Project Veritas.
So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to try my best to, speak from the heart, but I did write these words, and I want to tell you what's going on. So here we go. It's going to take me about 15 minutes to do this. Journalism is reporting things powerful people want kept hidden for the wrong reasons, moral wrongs, bad behaviors, as journalists were the custodians of the public's conscience. And as we've gone deeper and deeper exposing and illuminating corruption, the lies hidden from public view, the line that separates good and evil becomes more clear. Not just in the institutions we investigate, but within one another. Throughout my 13 years doing this, our mission has evolved from simply being about exposing the truth with some hidden cameras to something more transcendental, giving people hope, right? That's what we do. And I'm going to stand here because I just feel like I'm filming a video for the audience. And as we ascended into that higher purpose, which I think we all understand that we have suffered through triumph and disaster along the way in a similar fashion to what I wrote about in my book. The first chapter was called Suffering. So the line that separates good and evil passes not through the states, nor classes, nor political parties, but right through every single human heart, to quote Solzhenitsyn.
And by the way,
that line in the sand becomes more clear the deeper we go in investigating these powerful institutions. So over the last few weeks, I have felt a lot of despair and seen a lot of evil, and felt overcome with various emotions over the last few weeks. You could say I've seen glimpses of heaven and hell, of darkness and light. What I take away from these is the gratitude that I have for many of you, for most of you. And there is such goodness in so many of you that
I don't. The thing about this, I don't know whether he's actually being honest here, or whether he's like scripted because they've got a gun to his back and they're going to sue him, and he has an NDA and he's got all sorts of other agreements here. So I think leaving is something he didn't want to do. So I don't know how I feel if this is authentic already. I mean, so already like this far into it, I'm doubting that this is a true leak and that this is something that's more managed.
I have seen, and I am grateful for that, and the generosity and goodwill we have steadily built over the past 13 years with so many people. I've received thousands of text messages and phone calls from people all over the world concerned about my well-being. But as I was going through this process, I reflected upon my appreciation for many of you. What makes us great is that we do this work because we actually believe in it, right? We actually believe in this. It shocks people that we do, and we have a passion for it, and we have principle. Like I know, we don't sell out. I think that's fair, at least most of us. We have a passion for doing the right thing in a visual way, no matter what. That's what binds us. I know many of you have experienced this despair alongside of me in the last couple weeks. One of you just told me the other day that you'd go work at Walmart at the night shift so that you could do this during the day.
Holy
That's what
shit.
one of you said to me. I believe you. Rather than sell out. In fact, I know this is true for many of you.
By the way, Gemma, thank you for the gifted 5 legal mindset memberships. Appreciate that. And don't work at Walmart.
And many more out there who wish to be part of this. It's true. I remember back in the beginning, 13 years ago, when I had like no money, I would have to use bubble gum, duct tape. I think you were around during that time. I keep looking at you because I've known you since Andrew Breitbart. And my grandmother's chinchilla, I literally had to place a Project Veritas sticker on a piece of cardboard that I ripped off from my dad's cardboard and stick it to a microphone at Radio Shack because I had no money to buy a flag mic. And this was after experiencing a meteoric high of the acorn story. I was up and I was down. And I was broke again. And I was arrested. And then crashed down to a meteoric low. Back in the carriage house, resorting once again to bubble gum and duct tape to achieve the NPR investigation that took us yet again to a meteoric high. I was so broke that I had to scribble my name and phone numbers on pieces of paper because I had no business cards. And so the saga continues. Back then, there were no employees and no budget. But I felt the same sensation this week. I feel the sensation right now. As Steve Jobs once wrote about being fired from Apple, the company he founded, quote, "The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again."
By the way, I do read. So people ask, like, do I read the super chats? I do. I don't always show them. So for those who are watching, we have a lot of comments here. I read you guys' comments. I don't always get to them, but I do read them. So I do try to answer what you guys are saying in the chat. It's hard monitoring 3 chats: Locals, Rumble, YouTube. But of all the channels, of all the legal channels out there, of all the motherfuckers, I try to do the best I can. Just saying.
Less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. So back then I trudged on from the back of a stretch limo in DC. 2 guys, I was on federal probation, so I couldn't be there, but 2 of my volunteers dressed like Muslim Brotherhood fundamentalists armed with hidden cameras. Project Veritas was born again in 2011 for a second time. A couple of donors eventually became 100,000 donors present day, 13 years later. After almost a decade and a half of 85-hour work weeks, sometimes traveling 300 days a year, I am on the road, packing multiple meetings in a day, and plenty of blood, sweat, and tears, the likes of which I could never have possibly fathomed. The external threats and pressure inflicted against myself and some of us has been unimaginable. I'm going to summarize them. Handcuffed by the FBI on 2 separate occasions, 12 years apart, having my phones confiscated and private information leaked to the New York Times, being placed on effective house arrest for 3 years between May of 2010 and May of 2013, being sued dozens of times, being served 2 separate criminal grand jury subpoenas in New Hampshire in the last 10 years, getting pursued in a high-speed chase by a New Jersey education union official on Interstate 80 in Passaic, deposed many times, suffered through mediation with insurance companies where they had all of our emails. They had everything, but they evidently didn't have anything on me. Getting my home raided by the FBI, having my loved ones put in handcuffs in the hallway, and having our office destroyed by a hurricane, literally a hurricane, which forced us into a temporary workplace before rebuilding and stirred up disgruntled employees, including grievances about me, which I will get to in a minute. The list goes on. Even so, as a former board member told me 10 years ago, Project Veritas will never be stopped from the outside. It will only be because we stopped ourselves, right? I'll get to that too in a minute. Prophetic as it may be, that is exactly where we find ourselves in the situation today. A situation where I've been stripped of my authority as CEO.
Oof.
And
So
removed from
he
the board
admits right
directors.
there that he's been stripped against his own will. So this implies that he did not want this to happen. But somehow he was voted out. See, here's what I don't get. How did he structure his organization so you can be voted out? That's a fuck up. And by the way, this is my advice to y'all as you're building organizations. Make it so that you control your own shit. Don't bring others in that they can make decisions over you, like, and control what you're doing on your own project. However he structured this, he structured it in a bad way that they could vote him out. That's not a great corporate setup. As a person who's done that, that's not great. Just saying.
I bet you didn't know that. I'll get to that in a minute. Contrary to what public statements may say. And by the way, I have copies for this. I will not give them to you yet. I will give them to you after I'm done. And there are board minute meetings, which you'll all get a copy of, that read as follows. Quote, James O'Keefe indefinitely suspended as CEO without compensation.
Oof. This is not good. And it passed 2-3. That's not good. Not good at all.
February 10th. Yes. Quote, indefinite suspension of James O'Keefe from the board, dated February 10th, 5 days before the statement, saying that I'm still the CEO. I don't know why this is happening now, or specifically why this is happening suddenly right now. As you know, at the helm of Veritas, I've never allowed or entertained speculation. I only report the facts. I think you know this. You're involved in hiring. But don't you know that so many people want to go beyond the facts? I'm adamant that I'm only going to stick to the facts. So much so that sometimes we don't hire people if they want to pontificate and opine about what's going on in society. And I've had people leave because they don't agree with this vision, okay? Or what a journalist ought to do. But fortunately, I have recordings and documents to back up everything I'm about to tell you. So everything I'm about to tell you, I have documentation and proof. So you don't have to say I wasn't there. You can listen to it and watch it for yourself. So I'm about a quarter of the way through here. Bear with me.
Yeah, I'm going to
The
fast
last
forward a little bit.
your siblings, although a good leader probably should. I don't do that. I ask a lot of you, but I don't ever ask you to do anything I haven't myself done and continue to do. I haven't always been the most compassionate leader.
I don't think I look like James, by the way.
And that is admittedly a fault of mine, something I need to work on. But I remember when I was back in the carriage house in the beginning, there was a journalist in the beginning, and he pointed this out to me.
Although we are
saying,
the same
more
age.
compassionate, asked me about my life. And it hurt him that I wasn't more compassionate towards him. Personally, I told him it was difficult for me to change myself. But this experience stayed with me, and I always have known this about myself. I've tried to do a better job of that, but the truth is I've been very hurried, very busy, pressed for time every day, trying to pack in so much in a day. I think you all know this in meetings. I'm busy because I'm trying to get so much done in an hour, all the while moving at the speed of light to raise as much money, to hire more people, to take care of you guys in a fundamental way, although I may not be good at communicating the reasons why I am that way. I'm doing as much as I humanly possibly can so I could build this place out and do more.
That is crazy. Look at this revenue jump. Holy shit. If this growth was any other organization, look at these numbers. Wow. That is, and we don't even have 2021, 2022. That is insane. And remember, 2020 is before the Pfizer expose. So I guarantee you these numbers have doubled. I guarantee that from 2020 to 2021, 2022, final numbers have doubled. Guaranteed. That's insane.
And that's what we did
By
every
the way, this is somebody who's on his mission and focusing on the truth. This is fucking nuts.
year, each year since 2010. Growing every year, sometimes doubling our revenue, doubling our impact. I have a chart here, which again, I'm going to hand to you, the chart of the growth every year. I have never slowed down. I recognize that perhaps I should, but number one, there's a trade-off to slowing down. And number two, I need the right leaders around me in order to do that. So along the way, there has been much turnover, replacing people with better people. This was painful to me and to many of you who witnessed it. But that has always been happening since day one. There was turnover 10 years ago when I had to fire a friend from college. Let's just maybe hold off on that until the end. So I'll make sure that everyone has a copy of this. And I don't intend to publish this. This is for you guys internally.
By the way, I got 2 shots to take here. Thank you, Brandon. So here's one.
10 years ago, I had to fire a friend from Rutgers. That hurt me. It took me months to get over this. I never discussed this. I felt for him, but it was the conflict that ate at me, but I had to do it. See, leadership has a price, and results often come at a human cost. Maybe fewer in this world, present day, are willing to pay that price. Many people want the fruits of leadership, such as its power, results, Twitter followings, secondary effects.
It was down that
But the price of the responsibilities, burdens, trials, hardships, difficult decisions, or just sheer suffering, I don't think people want that. And all through the years, things fundamentally continued on an upward trajectory for this place, albeit turnover. And I'm a hard guy to work for sometimes. We file our annual tax return. A public tax return is required by the IRS. And my compensation is set by an independent board of directors via the compensation committee. 4 times a year, our chief financial officer has submitted company financials to the board. That's every quarter. And our board approves it in quarterly meetings. All 3 members of the C3 were present, and we have subjected both the C3 and the C4 to audits from outside independent accounting agencies each and every year. That happens. That has always been happening. Nothing about how I've conducted myself over the past 13 years has really fundamentally changed.
I agree with that. I mean, I think he's been the way he is
in the last 3 weeks. What has changed? The only thing that has changed is that we broke the biggest story in our organization's history. You know that one I'm talking about? Pfizer.
Yep.
The last week of January.
Yep.
With 50 million views. That like broke the record by like 10x. Our video became a global phenomenon.
Yep.
It was about Pfizer and one of the directors discussing mutating the virus. Our confrontation video, where he locked me in a pizza restaurant with you and you, and he smashed the equipment and called the police, that became a...
I did not see that. Did you guys see this video? Like, hold on. Let me put this out there. Like as a poll, did y'all see the PV video on Pfizer? Did you guys see these videos? I want to know. I'm putting out a poll right now. I didn't see that video.
Phenomenon, and was riveting television for audiences glued to their screens.
I saw the interview, but not
That
the
was
smashing the
one of my favorite
laptop. I didn't
things
see
ever
that.
happened. It was just really unbelievable. It was like true to be false and seemingly too false to be true, but it was real. If someone else is here, you can let them in.
Okay, you guys saw that. Apparently, I need to catch up on that one. I saw the interview with the gay guy who was clearly trying to smash that guy's pussy. I mean, I saw that. I saw the gay one, but not the tablet smash. Yeah, okay, it's an iPad, whatever. It doesn't matter. You smashed a fucking piece of electronics.
Hello, come on in. Just giving a few remarks to the team here, so you came at the right moment. So the only thing that changed were these videos. Outlets in India and China cover the story, and our social media exploded like never before. Our employees and board members' Twitter accounts also exploded like never before. Pfizer even put out a non-denial denial, like you always capture these things, where they basically admitted they were mutating the virus, albeit they buried this admission in jargon. But it was still an admission. And it was extraordinary that Pfizer responded to us with an admission, not denying that this guy was who he was. What an amazing turn of events. That is the only thing that's changed in 13 years of me being who I am. And then suddenly, an unusual emergency happened just a few days after that. I think we have one more person here if we could let him in. So suddenly, an unusual, and I'm going to take you through this. I'm going to take you through what happened. Some of you don't know these things. Hello.
I love, by the way, how like during this video, multiple people are walking in, which means they're hearing about it and then like coming in. It's just very interesting.
Talking about the story we broke, an unusual emergency happened. On Thursday, February 2nd, that's a few days after the Pfizer story, I was informed by an officer of Project Veritas on the phone while en route to the airport that he would resign unless I stepped down as CEO.
By the way, he knows this will be going out. You know, he knows this will be going out to everybody else. By the way, I'm gonna put this on 1.25 speed.
We've been having a conflict of visions, him and I, over fundraising. Are they in fundraising here? I guess no one from fundraising is here. I don't know. There were tactical disagreements about the boldness of approaches soliciting donations.
Speed.
I was told, and I'm paraphrasing, by asking for X dollars right now, you will prevent 10X dollars down the road. That advice ran contrary to everything I knew to be true in my 13 years of fundraising. But that conflict was even more fundamental and essentially boiled down to this. And my vision, I'm going to paraphrase Howard Rourke, the architect, quote, I don't build in order to have donors. I have donors in order to build. That's what I believed, and I felt like we had a conflict of visions. We don't measure our success only in terms of how much money we bring in. We measure our success in terms of our impact. Remember Acorn? I don't think I raised a single dollar off that. I had a stack of media coverage to the ceiling. We measure our success in terms of what we produce, not just in terms of our wallets.
Shapiro speed.
That was a pretty fundamental conflict, I felt. The day prior, I'd informed him in front of his colleagues that if he wasn't willing to follow my lead, he'd be shown the door. I tried to deal with it privately, but I was unsuccessful, and the disagreement boiled over publicly in a staff meeting. The next day, this individual refused to resign, so I fired him. Later that same day, that's Thursday, February 2nd, a few days after the 50 million viewed Pfizer videos, I was informed by a different officer of Project Veritas that he would go to the board in a few hours from that moment and have an emergency vote to restructure this company. Receiving an agenda in my email while I was sitting on an airplane tarmac with the doors closing, the meeting was scheduled for the moment that my plane landed in Nashville. It became clear to me in that moment I would be removed from my position at Project Veritas by the time I landed at my destination. I bet you didn't know that. I have a copy of the emergency meeting here for you guys to take a look at. It's in writing. You could read it. You don't have to be there. You can read the minutes. They're official board minutes. They're written by a lawyer.
Cheers to 1.5.
My first question on the phone to this guy, my colleague, as I was staring at this agenda when the stewardess was asking me to get off the phone, was, quote, "What are we going to tell our supporters if I'm removed from my position?" I think that's the first question. I had 100 questions, but that was the first one. My colleague, who is an officer of Project Veritas, responded by saying our supporters wouldn't have to find out.
Are you kidding me? Well, hold on.
Sounds
Hold on. That to me is the most delusional thing. So you're gonna lie to your supporters? Yeah. Cheers, guys. You're gonna lie to your supporters and tell them that he's still working there when he's not? That's some bullshit. If that's true. And by the way, I give comment here. If that's true, that is 100% disingenuous. And you're right. I would believe that CNN runs this if they're lying on that level.
Like something you would get in the Claire McCaskill campaign. It sounds like something you would expose. I was so shocked by this. And again, the stewardess was asking me to get off the phone. I guess you could say that I was in a state of complete shock. How would our supporters not be informed of such an enormous thing? It was a lapse in judgment so severe that it was itself a fireable offense to make a statement like that.
I agree.
It was a lapse in judgment so severe.
By the way, employment is at will. And this is what I don't get. People feel so fucking entitled to a job in the US. It's at will. Unless you have a specific contract for a term and you're in a state that's a very specific state, it's at will. I just don't understand this entitlement to work. It's like you have to perform. You're paid money. Shut the fuck up and do your job.
It was impossible to hide my removal from my position at Veritas to anybody.
I did 0 Joe shots, Brandon.
As the CEO and chief fundraiser, I have to explain
legit.
the context of my role to thousands of people, 300 days a year on the road,
pretty low in this
while soliciting them for funds so that I can pay you. And I knew many of our supporters and donors would not like that change. If I was removed from the chief decision maker at the organization I founded, I share who we are, our vision, our structure, our strategy with everybody. In fact, hiding something so fundamental from people is something that we stand against in principle, particularly with the amount of scrutiny that we're under. The doors closed, the plane took off, but somehow, over the next few hours, I was able to convince the board to push this emergency meeting to that Monday, February the 6th. The very next day, and this is
motion to revise the reporting structure of PV with a new suggested structure to be proposed and voted on for immediate implementation. Termination of employees, meaning him.
where things gets really bizarre.
Dissolution of PVA as an entity. Oof.
So fasten your seatbelts. The very next day, on Friday, this is now Friday, February 3rd, a board member reached out to one of our journalists and stated, quote, "You get a raise."
What is PV without James O'Keefe? I don't see how this will work. What is in PV without 70% of its employees? What is the solution? Restructure, oversight, free hugs? What would this look like? I get a raise, you? Well, that's sort of what's about JO. Hopefully he falls in line. He's destroying his own organization. Holy shit.
If there is a restructure without James O'Keefe at Project Veritas. I have a copy of the text message, and I'll give it to all of you. I redacted the name of the journalist. The board member deleted the message, but not before our journalist took screenshots. Good job, journalist. On Sunday, February 5th, now that's Sunday, 2 days after the Friday, a board member requested my presence at his home. He informed me, quote, "You had nothing to do, James, with this Pfizer story," unquote. Perplexed by this, I took out my iPad and showed him a video of myself confronting the Pfizer executive, which had 11 million views on YouTube. He responded, quote, "But that was after the undercover video had already been done," unquote. I pointed out that the brave journalist, and many of you know who this person is, I'm not going to name anyone, who recorded the interaction was someone that I had to sit down over a year prior, remember, over dinner, for hours, talking off the proverbial ledge, insisting he take the long, arduous road to get the story about Pfizer. And indeed he did. The board member responding to me saying that said he did not know that. and admitted that another board member was persuading him to the contrary.
There you go.
In the meeting, we're fast forwarding to Monday, 2 weeks ago.
Let people in.
On the 6th, I offered an apology letter to the board for my tone of voice in the office at the leadership meeting the week before, that I intended to also share that apology for my tone of voice with our staff. But the board refused to accept my apology, nor believe that it was sincere. They also did not support my sending it to the staff. I imagine many of you didn't even know that I drafted an apology. Then I was subject to a 6.5-hour listing of grievances, which included taking black cars to meetings. I don't know the significance of the color of the vehicle. And taking a few charter jets over the years to pack multiple PV meetings in a day. One of those jets, I think we had a meeting in New York, Wisconsin, and California in the same day, and it raised $2 million. But the revenue part was omitted. There was also some truly bizarre grievances, including my failure to record audio in one encounter at a bar in upstate New York, and an allegation that I stole a pregnant woman's sandwich in federal court.
That's a good one.
There were also discussions from a few staffers with donors in the boardroom. Donors were listening to some of this, and some of these were sent directly to donors without my consent. Donors who have no knowledge of my personal life and have no business asking questions about my personal life, about girls I've dated in the past.
What?
A fundraising colleague
That's ridiculous.
relayed, and again, this is going to start getting really strange, but this board meeting was video recorded. We'll get to that in a minute. A fundraising staffer relayed, quote, concerns about my behaviors regarding videos where I, quote, literally chased a Twitter executive around New York. By acclamation from all of you, in 2022, that video about the Twitter chase was one of the most successful videos. But yet, your colleagues in a boardroom were expressing concerns about it. Every board member previously communicated their love of that video, but none pushed back in that moment when the staffer criticized it. Why? The attacks were so severe against me personally in that boardroom, and again, this is all video recorded, and I suggest that you ask for that. I will not provide that to you. The attacks were so severe that one board member asked, quote, is there anything James O'Keefe is good at? That's what your board member said. Oh, and by the way, this meeting was video recorded. I'm going to keep saying that. You may want to ask existing board members if they want to share that entire video with you. I suggest you request the entire 7-hour or so video to see for yourself what actually happened. You don't have to have been there. You simply need to watch the video and hear all of the testimony. After the 6 hours, I was asked what I had to say for myself.
It sounds like a struggle session. This sounds like a struggle. To me, this sounds like a struggle session. Very leftist, very problematic.
I was given about 10 seconds to respond.
But at the same time, he made the choice to hire this guy.
And I was dismissed. Then, and I'm reading from board minutes drafted by lawyers who are taking a record of what the board members said and did, a vote was called to strip me of all of my authority and decision-making at this organization for half a year. That's 180 days. Again, it's in the board minutes. You'll have a copy of it. It says, quote, the CEO's ability to make these decisions suspended for 180 days with such power transferred to the executive director. The executive director reports to the board. The CEO is placed on leave for 2 weeks, and the CEO's access to donors is restricted. So I
Sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me rewind that. Pfizer got me. It was Pfizer. It was Pfizer. It was Pfizer. It was the Pfizer. It was Pfizer. It was Pfizer. Wait, is it no audio? Really? No
in
audio.
the mountains.
Weird.
Within a few days of going off the grid, I started receiving missed calls and texts from the same board members and officers who demanded I be gone. They informed the staff that they're waiting to hear from me. I found that odd. There was a corporate resolution demanding that I be gone for 2 weeks. I was a little worried about violating the corporate resolution. Wouldn't you? This was while I was commanded by a motion of a board to be literally gone on paid leave for 2 weeks. And then an officer at Project Veritas took a screenshot of my read receipts of text messages and distributed them to you, saying, quote, "You owe your team a response. Please allow communication."
Good.
This was during the time when I was required by the board to be gone. Then it's going to get stranger. Then, and again, I'm going to give you copies of all this. Then on February 10th, you guys don't know what I'm about to tell you, another board meeting occurred. Again, I'm gone. With the meeting's minutes reflecting that they had indefinitely suspended me from the board. By this time, they had stripped me of all of my authority as CEO.
Bueno.
During the time I was on leave, they kicked me off the board. So I can't be a CEO if I have no authority. I can't make any decisions. I'm not allowed to access any donor names. I wasn't even sure what my job was or if I even had a job. Right now, I actually don't. I'm not sure what my job here is. In the board minutes, it says that I no longer have a paycheck and I'm indefinitely suspended from this organization.
That's bad.
5 days later, after that, on February 15th, a statement was put out by this organization's executive director saying, quote, "James has not been removed from Project Veritas." 5 days after they removed me from Project Veritas. "James is the hardest working person I've ever met. Those who know him know he will not take time off unless forced to." Absent from the statement was the actions of the board to remove me from the board and remove me as CEO. I don't know why they omitted that part. Later on the 15th, the same day, while hiking with Kennedy, PD put a statement by quote tweeting a picture of me with him saying, "There is nothing better than enjoying a well-deserved vacation." That tweet failed to mention.
There's no video? Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Are they censoring me right now? Are they doing that? All right. I'm going to try this one more time.
That by then I had been removed from the board and indefinitely suspended as CEO. Why didn't they put that part in?
I'm 100% streaming this, but I have it is censoring this video. Pfizer is likely censoring this.
This is where things get really messed up. A few days later, an officer sent an email to the board with bizarre hyperbole and innuendo about certain expenses related to our business needs. These included, and you can't make this up, that Project Veritas paid for James O'Keefe's down payment of his wedding.
By the way, Brandon, I am totally caught up.
I'm not married.
I've been counting.
I've never been married.
Gaslight me into.
I do hope to get married one day. In fact, I got married to you in Oklahoma, but that was pretend. That was fun. Everyone enjoyed it. We rented a charter bus. We all went down. Everyone enjoyed that musical, or at least I thought. I'm not married, but the truth of the expense, the $12,000, was that it was a payment for our annual Project Veritas Christmas party. Remember that? You guys were there? Some of you brought your spouses? The officer lied by omission, excluding the purpose of paying the $12,000 for the wedding venue. It looked like Project Veritas was reimbursing me for a wedding venue. Why would the officer lie like that? There were also, again, bizarre complaints, and this is where you come in, Asha, about taking too many trips to too many meetings over the course of a year. I think there were like 305 cars I had taken to meetings. And
by the way, did it? No, it's not my CPU. It's not my connection. Are you guys still seeing the video? Hold on, let me do a vote here. Like, are you still seeing the video? Yes or no? Like, do y'all see the video? I want to see yes or no on this, because if they censored this, that is big. No, I know. Okay, so people are saying, like, you know, I fairly trust Nancy here. She's saying that we cannot see the video, but we can hear the audio. That's actually bad, because I've been playing the audio this entire time. So that means they're censoring this actively during the stream. That's next level censorship. Yeah, that's Pfizer level censorship. So 94% of you are saying no. Shit. That's bad. No, I know you aren't lying. In real time, they're censoring us. This is what happens, guys. This is what happens. Whew. In real time, we get censored. Let's check. Oh yeah. We're already limited. Let's see. Okay, so I'll request a review on that. But this is real-time censorship. This guys, this is what it is. I've been watching this and listening to this, and they are censoring it actively. Why is your Rumble is down? Whoa, no video at all? Wow. That's bad. That means that, guys, they're going in and actively censoring what I am showing. That's real bad. So I guess they're censoring Law Nerd clips, maybe. So let's take it from Temple. That's bad. That's real bad. Real bad. I don't know how it would be gaslighting, but you should check your PayPal instead of putting your boy on blast. No, Brandon, I've checked it. I'm good. I'm square. Your boy's square. Your boy's been taking shots as it comes. Okay, let's see if this matches. So if you can see this, let me know. Can y'all see a video right now? Let me know. Well, I'm now streaming from Tim Fool. I am now streaming from Tim Fool. Just for y'all. Not yet. No. No, still buffering. No. Okay, I'm going to play
your jobs without taking, quote, black cars around. I don't know how I can do my job here.
Whoa.
If I can't transport myself around the United States. It actually doesn't make any actual sense, does it?
This is fucked.
None of this makes any sense.
This does not make sense at all. Yeah.
And why is it all happening?
I'm with James O'Keefe. This is real censorship in real time. Gim asks, where's the streaming from? I was streaming from Law Nerd clips, but now I'm streaming from Tim Pool. Still did not work either way. So this is what we've come to. Sassy Gubbity says, Law Nerd clips has a video. Yeah, that's where I was watching it. It's the stream. They're censoring this stream. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. No, it's not me. It's y'all. Yeah, they could be blocking me. That's true. It's very true. Let me get these ones from locals, these tips from locals, which is, let's cover this here. You've got 3 eyes, one special for locals, one left eye for YouTube, and one right for Rumble. Yes, that's true. And also, one thing for sure, Pfizer sent someone out to suck a few dicks like Norfolk Southern is sucking off that faggot Pete Buttigieg to silence the shit. Yeah, that's true. Very true. It will never be the American Chernobyl because it will never get the PR. Just saying. Shit. All right. I'm going to restart this. Guys, it may take a second, but I'm going to restart the stream. So bear with me 2 seconds. Brandon says, I sent you 500. What is it? What I had to lie? It's there. No, you're right. Brandon, you're right. You got no incentive. But let me go ahead and restart the stream. And we'll be back in 2 seconds. All right. All right. So let's try this again with the audio. Smash that like button. Like LNC says, smash a like button for the censorship. Internet aids trying to censor us. We're back here. We should have video. Let's see.
Right now? Those are the questions I have. I don't have answers. You guys are journalists. Maybe you can go.
It's not my
answers. I don't
computer.
know. After the series of events, I wrote a letter to the board on February 16th with the proposal. Many of you have not seen this, but this is what I sent to them, which I guess they haven't shared this with you, but I'm going to share it with you now. With a proposal that the board members resign by the end of this past week. We're now past that point, where I'll be forced to walk away. And this is what I wrote.
Holy shit.
Dear board, and I'm not going to provide the whole thing, but I'll provide the meat and potatoes. Over the last 2 weeks, I've carefully followed the board's directive to take a vacation and avoid contacting donors. Of course, donors called me. My phone was being lit up with thousands of phone calls. One donor even, I posted a video. She was upset about how she was portrayed in the grievances. Remmers was her name. She posted a video saying the grievance was a total lie. My understanding is one of the officers of this organization responded to that by calling the donor a liar. The officer wasn't there. Why would they?
Okay, let me try this. Let me try this. So bad. Radio versus audio. Okay, we'll try this one more time. We'll try it with a fresh browser. The fact they're trying to censor this tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. They're trying to censor this audio because they don't want you to see this. No. It is censorship. They don't want you to see this. Okay, let's see if you guys see this right here. Okay, video.
I want to go back to the beginning of what I said and express how important so many of you are to me. How I still believe we have a long and bright future together somehow, some way. And to share my profound appreciation for many of you. When I left the office, and this is where I'm going to get emotional, so please forgive me. When I left the office on February 6th, after being stripped of all my authority, I saw my father and gave him a hug.
Okay, fine. All right. We'll restart. We'll restart. All right, so we're good. We should be good now. This is like an entirely new browser, entirely new window, entirely new Project Veritas. So we should be good to go with this. Try sharing an unrelated video that will prove or disprove the censorship. I think we'll be good this time. I completely restarted everything. I literally like refreshed everything. You have an additional 5 shots. No, Brandon, bro. Okay. But I'm not sharing anything yet. Can you see my video? Let's see. All right. Can y'all see this video?
Realizing just how honest and real of a man he is.
Yeah, you can see me. But how about this? Still no? You can still only see me? God damn it. All right. We're all me. Okay. All right. Well, let me put it this way. Since y'all can see me, we're big. We're big now. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that, whether I'm being a boomer right now because I've had way too many shots, or whether it is that specific video. But either way, whether it is my video or that video, it doesn't seem like I can resolve this right now. So I don't want to drag this on too far. But that being said, James O'Keefe, and thank you, Tech Crisis, try sharing an unrelated video. I did that. Did not work. Laundering Clips has a video. I was sharing the Laundering Clips video. So appreciate that. But either way, removing James O'Keefe is absolutely and 100% the death of Project Veritas. And to think any other way, to think that like they're going to be able to operate Project Veritas without James O'Keefe is delusional. Any board that thinks that is delusional. In fact, I would say they might be paid shills for the left. It is 100% without watching the last 10 minutes. By the way, we got, even with the audio, we got to the last 10 minutes. That is the death of Project Veritas. Absolutely without any ambiguity, the death of Project Veritas. There are staff that will follow him out. And by the way, staff that follow James O'Keefe and go to a new organization, they go to a new place, they go somewhere else, they'll profit, they'll be fine. But anyone that stays there will die on the vine. They will quickly become irrelevant without any other background to that. That being said, guys, I'll end it here. Holy shit. By the way, Brandon, 5 shots. I owe 5 shots right now. I will do 1 right now and 4 later. But here's one to whether I'm censored or whether I'm a boomer. I appreciate y'all and appreciate y'all sticking with me. And also y'all that are dedicated to the truth rather than bullshit, which is what I believe James O'Keefe was attuned to. So cheers to y'all. Cheers to y'all that are out there seeking the truth. Cheers. Woof, strong. That being said, guys, take care. I'll catch y'all later. Try to fix this shit. And yeah, stay based. Peace.
Wow, 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 wow.